What's up, family? Hey, so I get home Sunday evening and my internet service isn't working. And so I get up Monday morning and I go over to one of my mom's house and sitting there talking to her about it and just how my weekend was, my birthday weekend, and just the whole bang. She's just talking to me about everything. And talking to her about it, and I get on the phone and I'm talking to the internet provider. And they're telling me that, because I live up here in the mountains, they can't get out here till March 2nd, which is like a whole week later. It's like Tuesday of next week. That's the soonest they can get out here. And as I'm sitting there going back and forth with them about it, you know, um, mom's come in and she brings me this plate of bacon and eggs and some toast and some applesauce and some mandarin oranges. And I'm like, dang, cool, I could get used to this. And she laughs and she comes back in a little later and she's like, hey, I got to run into town to take care of some stuff and go grocery shopping. You want to go with me? It's like, yeah, I'll go. I said, I need a massage. And she's like, yeah, well, I'll just drop you off and I'll go take care of my stuff. I'm like, okay, cool. I just had a massage Friday, but I already knew that I was going back, that I needed another massage, get some of those kinks worked out. Same lady giving me the massage. So I'm laying there and face down, and she's just working it, right? And I hear this voice, let them work it out. And in my mind, I'm like, okay, well, I'm letting her work it out. She's doing a good job. I'm letting her work it out. You know what I mean? And it's like, no, let them work it out. And again, I've said it before, I get messages for my YouTube videos or my posts on social media, anywhere, everywhere. You know what I mean? Um, any subject, anytime. And I'm laying there and this thoughts constantly coming back to me. Let them work it out. Let them work it out. And I'm like, okay, well, what are you talking about? You know what I mean? The internet people, they're working it out. They'll be out next Tuesday. I'm trying to understand what they're talking about, what this thought is saying. Let them work it out. And then it hit me. It's like, no, I got it. What do I mean? Stay with me. I'm going somewhere. Let them work it out. As a kid, I grew up in a very chaotic environment. And because of that, I became very controlling. Stay with me. I'm going somewhere. I became controlling because the environment I grew up in was devastating, was painful. And because as I grew, I didn't want to go through that type of pain again. I didn't want to go through that type of suffering again. And so I became controlling because I wanted to make sure that nobody, nothing would ever hurt me again. Stay with me. I'm going somewhere. Many of us will go through certain situations where there's a failed relationship or whatever the case may be. We'll go through something that's traumatic for us. And the aftermath of that is we become so guarded, so protective, so controlling to make sure that we don't get hurt like that again. It's a self-defense mechanism. That's what it is. It's natural. It's a natural self-defense mechanism to ensure that we don't get hurt like that again. Stay with me. Some of us will have kids, grown kids. Again, my oldest will be 31 this year, you know. If we're not careful, we will still try to dictate policy to our grown kids. They're grown, don't even live with us, and we're still on their neck about what they're doing. We're still on their neck, on their helmet, about do this, you need to do this, and how come you ain't doing this? And we got all this yak, 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 yak. And they ain't even asked us. They ain't asked us our opinion or nothing, and we just da 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 da. And many of us would disguise it. We'll say, well, I love my kids and I want the best for them. Whoop-de, whoop-de, whoop. Okay, if we love them, learn to shut up. That's hard. Learn to shut up, sit back, trust the process, and let them work it out. But because we're controlling, we can't do that. Because we're controlling, we're running off people in our relationships. Because we're controlling, we get so many women. Yeah, 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 yeah. You ain't no man. And yeah, 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 yeah. Ain't no dude trying to hear all that. Ain't no real man trying to hear that. Ain't no real man gonna listen to that. He's out. If you a dude and you doing that, ain't no real woman trying to hear all that. Stay with me. Let them work it out. If they don't ask you your opinion, keep your opinion to yourself. They didn't ask you for it. It means they don't want to hear it. Learn to keep your mouth shut unless somebody asks you your opinion. And that's hard for us to do when we're controlling. That's extremely hard for us to do when we're controlling. I have 7 kids. I love every one of them. But I'm not going to be on their helmet about what they doing and what they ain't doing. They're going to have to figure it out. People will never reach their full potential if you're constantly babying them. People will never reach their full potential if you're constantly babysitting them and holding their hand through every step of the process. Learn to put their big wheels on or their training wheels on. Learn to step back and let them go. Let them go. If you got a man that you talking to like that, you ain't his mama. Leave him alone. Let him figure it out. If you the dude in the relationship and you talking to your woman, man, you ain't her daddy. Let her figure it out. Let them work it out. Stop trying to be Captain Save-A-Ho. Learn to sit back and it's like, man, I got to do me. I got to fix me. Because the truth be told, every single one of us got issues. The truth be told, every single one of us has something that we need to be working out. And as long as you trying to fix their problem, your problems ain't getting addressed. As long as you sitting there trying to dictate politics to somebody else and telling them what they is and ain't doing and whoop-de-whoop-de-whoop, you ain't addressing your stuff. Don't get so distracted. And many of us, we like being distracted because as long as I'm focused on somebody else's stuff, then I ain't got to address mine. I ain't got to acknowledge mine. I ain't got to look at mine. Learn to sit back, shut your mouth, and trust the process. Learn to trust the process. They're going to grow in their own time. Don't make them hate you. Don't make them push you away. Don't make them become bitter and resentful to you because you're constantly on their helmet. You're constantly barking at them. And to you, it may not come across as you barking. To you, it's I'm loving them. I'm trying to help them. Okay, it's not working. Leave them alone. Leave them alone. And fix you. Fix what makes you think that you're entitled to bark at somebody else. Fix inside of you what makes you feel like you have the right to constantly be on somebody else's helmet about what they is and ain't doing, what they are and ain't doing. Excuse the English, you know what I'm saying. Let them work it out. That's hard. I get it. I understand, especially when you're talking about a loved one, especially when you're talking about a relationship. Whether it's your grown kids, whether it's a lover, your spouse, whatever the case may be. You have to trust the process. You have to let them work it out. I love you guys. Happy healing.